Hello, Jackie Edwards here. So happy to see, well, another beautiful week, though it is a bit windy and crazy here. And I'm rocking my new Targaryen hairstyle. We've got the bleached platinum blonde look going on. It's quite fun. I'm actually waiting, so I got my hair dyed earlier. And I'm actually waiting to get it cut, I think, tomorrow. And then I'll decide kind of what colors I want to do because I might get it um, shorter here and then have a little design shaped into it. Then I might paint that some different colors. We'll see. But right now I've been rocking the Targaryen Platinum Blonde. And yeah, for those of you that watch Game of Thrones or House of Dragons, you'll know what I'm talking about. Anyways, today I want to talk about, again, it's more around boundaries and stuff. And it's something that I feel like I'm going through constantly. And it's that like societal and cultural conditioning, especially for women, that we need to be kind, we need to be helpful, we need to like go out of our way to make sure everyone else is happy and that we like take care of everyone. And like I feel like it's like deeply ingrained inside of me. Like it hurts when I have to tell people no almost. Like I feel like the worst person in the world if I'm not doing everything in my power just to like help somebody else out. And now it's lovely to help people and I like to help people. Um but some things like I don't have to be responsible for everything. I don't have to be responsible for fixing other people's problems, and especially in situations that like, dude, this isn't life threatening, this isn't life or death. So one of the things I'm working on now is I previously ran like a property management company where I managed like I rented out properties for for other people. So somebody else owned the house, the landlord. I was the agent that managed those properties. Now this was, I don't know, I stopped 4 or 5 years ago. Um, and the owners now, not all of them, which is weird, but some of them now seem to need like this paper signed by me saying that while I was managing the property, it was rented out to multiple different people. So great, I would be happy to sign that, but for some reason they also need that signature, not just to be witnessed by a lawyer or a solicitor, but the solicitor needs to sign to say that like they agree that I'm telling the truth, which how would they know that? And so I'm really struggling to find a solicitor that will do this because I live in a small rural area on a farm and a not, yeah, I don't really have time to be like calling all the solicitors in the area, trying to set up an appointment, going to the bigger cities to find a solicitor. And I feel really bad about this. Now, this is not my problem. This is not my responsibility. This is nothing to do with my business that I run now. It doesn't even have anything to do with my business I ran before because everything I did before was completely legal. I followed all the legislation and guidance at that time. And now I feel really bad that I'm not putting in more effort to get this signature, to like track down a solicitor that can witness my signature and sign off on their own thing. And I'm really struggling to say no. Like, I don't want to do it, but one of my old landlords called me yesterday. And instead of me just saying, no, it's not possible, I just said, okay, well, I'll see what I can do, and just was really vague around it. Now, I am extremely busy at the moment. There's a ton of random shit going on in my life. And on top of that, last night we just got a message through from the kind of government environmental agency saying that there was a case of avian influenza at a farm nearby, which we are now in the 10-kilometer surveillance zone, which means, well, I don't even know because I'm struggling to read their guidance, but it means that we have to do extra work with all of our chickens and really make sure that we kind of lock everything down to prevent our chickens getting avian influenza because now it's close by. So I'm also off to the US next week for my friend's wedding. and I'm trying to plan that out and get that organized. I was also just away for ages, um, visiting family. My grandpa just died. Like, all of this stuff is happening. Getting these signatures for these people is like not my number one priority. But I feel like I should be making it my number one priority just because they asked me to. Because I want to be a good and kind and nice person. And what a nice person, and not even just a nice person, a nice woman does is goes out of her way to do whatever anybody else asks her. And that is hard conditioning to rewire. It is hard to tell myself I'm allowed to say no. I'm allowed to not do that. I don't have to drive and find a solicitor an hour away to make this happen for somebody else, because it's completely their responsibility. It is their property. It is like their responsibility for whatever the new current laws or changes in the regulations are now that were not in at the time I was doing anything. And while I would like to be kind and helpful, and if this was easy, and if I could just pop to a local solicitor and have this all done, I would have already done it. But I've even had my assistant call all of the local solicitors, and they've all said no, this is not something they can do. But I still feel like that's not good enough. Like, how am I going to tell these people no? And now the people that are chasing me are like the new agents managing the property. I've never met these people in my life, and I still can't tell them no. I still feel like, oh God, what are they going to think of me if I tell them no? If I tell them I won't do this? If I tell them I can't do this? Like, I'm just a bad person. They're going to be thinking I'm a bad person. I'm unhelpful. Like, what is that? Like, the worst thing to be as a woman is unkind and unhelpful, and to say no to somebody. And of course, everybody has different levels of this depending on like the family and the culture that you were raised in. But I've been dealing with a lot of this in my own family, with boundaries and being able to say no to family members. And this all just raises it up to see that often we're so conditioned to just never say no to people, to always just go with the flow, to say yes, to be helpful, to be kind, to do what everybody else wants, and just stuff down our own feelings and our own needs. Because of course I could do this. Like, I could, completely change my schedule around. I could drive an hour away one of these days before I leave to the US again and, find a solicitor somewhere. I mean, it's going to take me more than an hour because I'll have to drive through Oxford traffic. I'll have to find somewhere to park in Oxford after spending time on the phone setting up an appointment that fits anywhere near in my schedule. Find a place to park, get to the solicitor's office, get them to sign these documents, and then get myself home, post out these documents, all of that stuff. Like, I totally could do it. But this is like a 3-4 hour exercise for something that is not my responsibility. And it's something I would only be doing just to be kind and helpful. Why do I feel so much pressure that I have to do that? Why do I feel bad even talking on this video? I feel bad even just admitting that I'm not going to do that. That I'm not going to spend 4 hours, an additional 4 hours, because I have already spent a lot of time on this, just trying to figure it out and find someone. I feel bad saying, no, I'm not going to spend another 4 hours on something that's not my responsibility just to help you out. And I think that is a lot of the unraveling that we need to do. And that puts so much pressure on us every single day when we're feeling overwhelmed, anxious, overburdened. It's because we're struggling to say no to these things. We're struggling to say no to things that aren't our responsibility, aren't necessary, because it would make us look unkind. It would make us look unhelpful. And what is wrong with that? What if we are allowed to be helpful and kind to ourselves first and not everybody else? What if that was okay? What if that is what we taught our children and our grandchildren? That yes, being kind, being helpful is good, but the first person you're kind and helpful to is yourself. Because once I have that space, and once I think, no, I'm not going to run around and look for solicitors and figure this all out, once I take that space to say, I can be kind to myself, I don't have to do all the hard things just to help everybody else, then I can sit back and think of maybe there's another way. And I think of who can I reach out to that might have another solution, because I do have contacts at like the city council and the government from when I was running this business. So I've sent a couple emails to them to say, is there another way of doing this? Which I wouldn't have done if I just immediately thought, no, I have to go out, I have to help these people, I have to do whatever they're asking me to do, no matter what the toll is on myself and my own responsibilities. Because I've got responsibilities to manage my farm, my animals, my employees, my life. And that stuff is allowed to come first, no matter how selfish that makes you sound. You are allowed to put your needs and your personal, like, real responsibilities first, above other people's needs. That is okay. And that is okay for me. And it isn't fucking comfortable to do that. It takes practice. It takes a lot of me talking to myself, doing the work, remembering I'm worth it, and it's all going to be okay. So hopefully that hasn't been too much rambling around as I've tried to like unwind this in my brain. I'm still working on it. And it's given you some food for thought. Because the more we can kind of talk about this and bring this out there, the easier it's going to be. Because I know my first thought is when I say you don't have to be kind and help everybody else, like, I just think, well, that's just going to raise a whole bunch of people to be like horrible, narcissistic, self-centered, egotistical people. And I don't think that's true. Because inherently, like, we are all nice, kind, good. We want to help other people. But it's when we put those other people above our own needs, we put their needs, their expectations above our own, is when everything gets out of whack for everybody. Because I'm always trying to solve for your needs and your problems. You're trying to solve for that person's, and that person's trying to solve for that person. Whereas if we just toned it back and we focused on ourselves first, then we'd all be in a lot, like, more even keel of a space. We'd all feel more powerful within ourselves. And we wouldn't have so many more needs and expectations of other people. And there wouldn't be all that pressure on all of us to constantly be helping each other when we know first I can help myself. And then I can see where can I help others when I've got that space and that availability within me, when I feel safe and secure and comfortable in everything that I'm doing. Then I can look outside myself and see where can I help others. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. Have a wonderful day, and I shall see you tomorrow, probably with the same hair, or not. We'll see what happens. All right, have a wonderful day.